Hey guys, Brady here, and not sure if this is true or not. I read a rumor. I read not really a rumor, I read an article or came across an article. I didn't really read the full thing. I just saw the title and it said something like, "If Ghostbusters does good in the box office, that we are possibly going to get a reboot of the 1980s classic Back to the Future." Which I'm not okay with, but if they do it, I won't be too pissed about it. I would still see it, but now I'm just kind of hoping I want Ghostbusters to not make money at all. I want to see Ghostbusters, but I don't want to see it make a ton of money in order for a Back to the Future reboot to happen. Ghostbusters can make all the money it wants, but if that's gonna make Universal, I know Sony is behind Ghostbusters, but Universal has the idea, if this does good, we're gonna reboot our movies. We're gonna reboot starting with Back to the Future, and who knows what they could be rebooting next. If Ghostbusters makes good money, so I made a list of top 25 movies that should not be remade. Some of you guys may agree with me, some of you guys may not agree with me, some of you guys may be like, I wouldn't mind an updated version of that movie. Actually, you guys would probably agree with me. I got some pretty juicy ones on here. Now, some of these I already know they were remakes, but I'm going to say it right now, Lord of the Rings trilogy. I know it's a remake of a 1970-something animated movie, but we got the best we can out of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, so we don't need any updated version of that movie whatsoever. The movie's perfect the trilogy is perfect on its own. That's my number 20, by the way. So 25, I got Beverly Hills Cop. 24 is Elf. I don't want that to be remade. Now, these movies probably will never be remade. Like, Beverly Hills Cop, I could see being remade in the next 3, 4, 5 years, probably. Harry Potter, definitely not going to be remade, but I wouldn't be surprised in 20 years from now it's remade. As of right now, in 2016, we don't have to worry about a Harry Potter reboot because it's unlikely. It's unlikely that we're going to get a Harry Potter reboot. The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, although I heard rumors that they're going to make a sequel called Ferris Jr., which I'm actually intrigued. Although that I heard that 4 years ago, and it hasn't happened yet. I haven't heard anything since that, but yeah. Anyway, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I already mentioned that. Number 19, the Man with No Name trilogy, that should never be touched. Another Clint Eastwood classic, Dirty Harry. I guarantee you we're probably going to get a reboot or a remake. And it's going to be PG-13. We're most likely going to be getting that in 5 years. Don't be surprised if that happens. But it just seems like that kind of movie. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Rocky, Taxi Driver, Home Alone, E.T., although we're supposed to be getting a sequel to E.T., I wouldn't mind a sequel, just don't remake it at all. It's perfect the way it is. Speed. That's number 12, Speed. I could picture that movie being... some of these movies I could picture being remade. Like Beverly Hills Cop, I could see being remade in the next couple of years. Dirty Harry, I could see being remade in the next couple of years. Speed, I could see being remade in the next couple of years. Because those are all R-rated action movies. And, yeah. I mean, I have no problems with remakes or reboots. I think they're okay. Are they as good as the originals? No. They don't have anything on the originals. RoboCop is still better than the new RoboCop movie. Did I say RoboCop? I just said RoboCop. RoboCop movie. The Arnold Schwarzenegger Total Recall is still better than the Colin Farrell Total Recall, but I still find the reboot, the Total Recall, and the reboot, the RoboCop, fun movies. Are they memorable? No. Are they exciting for the 2 hours they are? In my opinion, yeah. Jurassic Park, The Matrix. I don't see The Matrix being remade. It's kind of impossible for that movie to be remade. Alien, possibility. Now, the next movie you guys are gonna be like, yeah, it's technically a reboot already. But I only count it as a reboot if they had to call it something 2018. And since it's not called that, the Terminator. Some people are like, oh, well, Terminator Genesis pretty much rebooted this series. No, I'd still call it Terminator 5. Arnold Schwarzenegger's still in it. Until they physically reboot it and call it The Terminator 2018 or something. I'm just making up a random year. And it's a reboot. As of right now, Terminator Genesis is a continuation in my mind and hopefully other people's minds. Memento, I heard that was being remade from Chris Stuckman, who is reliable on movie sources. So, they shouldn't reboot Memento. It's 16 years old as of now. No, it doesn't need to be. If you want to reboot a movie, give it at least 20 or 30 years at least after its initial release. Don't reboot it right away. I mean, I understand if it was like Spider-Man or the Hulk. Hulk actually got rebooted 5 years later, but it was actually good, kind of. It was better. I heard this and I was pissed. They said they were either going to reboot this animated film or they were going to make a fifth movie. That is Shrek. I heard they were going to either make Shrek 5 or completely just say, fuck Shrek 5, we're rebooting the series. I don't want a reboot to Shrek. I would love a Shrek 5. Give us a Shrek 5. We don't need a rebooted Shrek movie. We don't need another Shrek origin story. I don't need that. Just give me Shrek 5 and I'll be okay. We'll all be okay, Hollywood, if you give us a Shrek 5. If you reboot Shrek, we're going to be like the villagers and have be running towards you guys with pitchforks and torches and shit. Back to the Future, like I mentioned, it's impossible. It's one of those movies that shouldn't be remade. The Exorcist. Now, the top 3 movies that should never be remade. These 3 movies will never, ever be touched. Especially number 2. Number 2, if anyone decides, hey, I'm going to remake number 2 on my list, the apocalypse is going to start. World War IV is going to break out if I said it. The Godfather's number 3, Star Wars. If Star Wars gets rebooted, remade, or anything along those lines, World War IV is going to happen. The whole world's just going to blow up. We're going to have to live on a different planet. It's just not a movie I see being remade. Like, there's certain movies that could be remade, and there's certain movies that should never be remade. Dirty Harry looks like the kind of movie that would be remade. Star Wars does not look like that kind of movie that would be remade. I don't understand if Dirty Harry got remade, but Star Wars, no. Star Wars should not be remade. Neither should Dirty Harry, but that's the kind of movie that you could tell, oh, that's going to be remade. But Star Wars is that kind of movie. Like, they're not going to remake that. They're never going to touch that movie. And then lastly, but not least, Jaws. We're getting countless imitations, and that's good. We got Deep Blue Sea. We just recently got The Shallows. But Jaws should not be touched ever. Neither should Star Wars. So